We are shuffling things around, but I'm really excited to welcome my other home division as I get to work, Deb Zakreski. Thank you so much for coming and representing the department here. We want you to get you into that. I'm sorry, you got to get into that mic a little bit so we can hear you.
Sure, it's
But
nice
you
to be here.
are business and enterprise, accounting. Know many of the people that I get to know and work with, not just locally, but I'm thinking of folks over
Right.
at Denny Kotzon's place, like Kim and Sarah and all those.
She was one of my students.
Yes, they're watching, I think,
And
now.
she,
Donate.
yeah, but she actually did. Her name is on the list already.
Oh, yeah,
Like
we
I
made
looked.
sure. Yeah, we were.
Yeah. And Jason Pierce, who works there
Yes.
also, Jason was one of my students. And I looked before I came
Oh,
here.
so we're
they were
name shaming
listed.
people by putting their names up there.
No, am I allowed to do that?
No,
Yeah,
it's
no,
not
it's
name
not
check.
on your
It's
right.
celebrating their donation.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, no, Kim has been
Taking
very
roll.
supportive of our program. I mean, ever since she graduated and came back to she went to one of the largest, CPA firms in the country, and then she came back to Johnstown, and ever since she came back, she's been very supportive of our program, has a number of our students in internships, and then hires them afterwards, and her and her firm has just been just overwhelmingly supportive. But just not, I mean, her CPA firm, a lot of the CPA firms in the area, they're really very supportive of our program. We have an award after Mr. and Mrs. Solly, there's, and Wessel and Company, and, I can't think of that, Cat and Niece Group, there's a lot of them. They're very supportive. A lot of our students are out there doing internships.
And my CPA is a UPJ graduate too.
Oh, okay,
yeah,
good.
we can, but
Did he
I don't-
donate?
What's that?
Did he donate?
I don't know.
We'll call him.
You sure for what I pay him? No. For business and enterprises, what all was in that division? Obviously, business, accounting, statistics.
Okay, well,
economics.
we have, marketing, management, information systems, finance, accounting, and economics.
Okay.
So, there's, quite of array, of options for our students to get, different majors. A lot of our students are double majoring because they realize that just one major, like knowing accounting is good, but knowing something about finance and economics
Right.
will help them, in their career choices, things like that. So they've recognized that for the most part, a lot of them do either double major or, they just might take a couple classes in another, discipline just to even put on their resume that they've taken 6 classes in upper level management or things like
Right,
that.
we also had majored, minored, and all that kind of stuff.
Sure.
I graduated with economics. What they call it, the dismal science.
No,
Or
I
something
don't
like
think.
that. But
Well,
so
before it
for all
used
you
to be-
people in marketing, and it's all about branding, and what we're trying to do is we're branding UPJ. So we're asking you a direct check, $5, $10, $20 on a monthly stipend. That would be less than a cup of coffee at Starbucks to help students, an opportunity to help them get an education and to be successful and to keep UPJ alive. And as we said before, it's a two-way street. We want you to get engaged. We want you to come back, visit this campus to see what it's become, particularly those that of my generation, that you can see the huge difference from the 1970s to where this campus is today. So please, it's the Pitt Day of Giving. Make sure it's given to UPJ if you're so inclined, because and it doesn't have to be a lot, even $5, because every person we get a good mark from Oakland, which helps us with our finances from main campus also.
Okay, yeah. I know there's even a number, of faculty members that do what you're saying. They take it out of their paycheck. They give monthly, because they believe in the institution. And even, it doesn't just help the students. It helps the faculty too, because it helps us go, like for professional development, going to conferences, keeping in touch with our colleagues, knowing that, we're keeping all of our classes up to where they should be, to the level that they should be. So it does help, and then that helps our students, because then we're going out and we're finding that information, we're drawing it back in, and then we're applying it in the classroom. So, it's like you said, it's a two-way street. Our ability to help the faculty, then help the students, it really is just one big package. So, yep. And actually, in the business department, one of our faculty members, Stacy Roberts, is putting together a business forum on March 19th.
Yeah.
And that's going to be at the Murtha Center at 6 o'clock, where she's inviting a number of alumni back. And what they do is they talk to the students, tell them about, this is what I did, and maybe you should do this maybe differently, or, they just, they're there to give them advice, to give them a little bit of encouragement, to say, you can do this. This is, it's a tough road that you're in right now, 4 years, but you can do it. And, usually in the business forum, they have students that have maybe graduated 1 or 2 years ago, and then, 5 years ago, 10 years ago. So you sort of get a mix, of what their experiences are, so that they can give those to the students. So she's working really hard on that. So we're hoping that, alumni can come back and, they can be part of that evening, and then maybe volunteer for next year, stuff like that. So yeah, her and her business, it's the business club, I believe, that puts that together.
Yeah.
So that's going to be March 19th.
They're the ones
'cause
who
the
had asked us
business
for
ones-
support.
yes.
and we're actually
And,
going
and it's interesting.
I'm gonna write
An
a check out of
accountant,
the company
CPA,
account.
I understand that. You go to an accounting firm and you get a job there. But if you want to be a business person, that's unique. And entrepreneurial skills is something that you have to hear from somebody that's been through it. Is how do you even do it? Just to get through the labyrinth, just to start a business.
Oh,
has
yeah,
to be
it's a process.
daunting.
Yeah. It's not just having the idea. It's trying to get the idea out there and developed so that you can put it out there, So it's a process. And we do have an entrepreneurial lab that Skip Glenn is in charge of, and he has a series of classes that the students take. And, he brings professionals in to help the students with that as well. So, yeah, we're really trying to, as you said, get the students, say UPJ real world ready, but it is true, you
Right.
have to teach them, life skills. Actually, one of our faculty members, Christina DiDiana, she's starting a class. I'm trying to reach this over here. Okay, and it's called Personal Financial Planning, and it's going to be offered as a gen ed. Okay. And it's going to be offered, well, it's been offered for years.
What's a gen
But
ed?
general education
Okay,
credit.
okay.
Okay, sorry. And, but anyway, it's being offered so that anybody here at the university can take it. Doesn't matter what your major is, but it's going to apply to one of your general education credits, which all students have to have. But what she's trying to do is to encourage students to start thinking about those financial issues that right now maybe their parents are taking care of, but once they graduate, they have to take care of it.
That's a great idea.
So she's doing that, and that's going to be in the fall. And again, so like I said, faculty development, student development, any kind of, donation can help, her develop that class even more, bring in, and I know she's interested in bringing alumni back, to come and talk about the different topics that she's going to have in that class. So
There's been some great things, being able to be part of the division and work with you and with Dr. Whistler as far as our chair.
yes,
and
we have
stuff.
a new chair, Dr. Timothy Whistler.
The
Yes.
things that are going on there has been really exciting. I actually talked to him. He's going to audit my course in the fall, get some technical experience. But it's this kind of thing I think is really special and neat for all students across the campus. And to be able to have those type of resources, to go to the webpage, I'm going to throw out the upj.pitt.edu/pdog again, as well as to provide that to every student as an option for them goes a long, long way.
I think so. Yeah, we're really thankful for Christina for doing that, because there is a need. Like I said, you go from 18 to 22, and your parents are pretty much taking care of you. And but once they graduate, they might have that student loan that they have to repay, and then they got to get a car, and they have to get insurance for the car, and where does all that come together? How do you put it all together? Make your own business plan. You should have a personal financial plan, and the sooner you start it, the better. And even when you graduate or you're going for those job interviews, what does all this mean that they're talking about? 401ks
Right.
and HSAs and FSA. What are they talking about? Well, that kind of information can be, communicated to them so that, they're informed when they're out there.
That's a great idea, because I'll tell you what, there's a lot of young people starting out there. They don't have a clue about finance or how money works, or even the simplest things. Well, I don't even know if people have checkbooks anymore, but get my drift. I
They
mean,
do, but they don't use
right.
them.
Yeah.
They give
And,
them to them, but they don't use them.
and we're here for the Pitt Day Giving. So for all you old timers out here, and since this division has economics and business in there, if you remember Al Frankfurt, Stanley Long, Mike Yates,
Clark Strausser.
Clark Strausser. I thanked him for passing me, and so I could graduate.
I did too,
Doc,
oddly enough.
Doc Weigel.
He was tough, but he was fair.
Doc Weigel, and Philanderer, but I never really had her, so I'd never had her for class.
Oh,
But,
Dr. Philanderoff.
yeah, I'd never had her.
Okay.
So, yeah, Mike Yates was our socialist economics professor, yes.
Yeah.
But, so if any of the old timers that had any of those people, just for the stories, it's worth $5 or $10 a month. So please, if you can, any help, greatly appreciated, so we can put another generation through this university system so they have the opportunity to get an education, expand their mind, get a good career, and enjoy family.
I think it's amazing from when we talk about business and enterprise how it is so that a student can go through their day and they're in a class with you talking about these core accounting principles. They pop over here and they're figuring out how to build databases and try to understand that technology with me. Then 2 hours after lunch, they're out in the courtyard with Skip, flying drones, all in the same day from the same division. It is
Yeah.
really, really exciting.
Yeah. And the other thing, when you were mentioning all those faculty members, that's one unique thing about UPJ is that our faculty seem to stay here. They develop, that core knowledge and, and they love to just give that information to the students. But I think that's one of the really good things about UPJ is that we have faculty that stay, that
And
they're
you had-
dedicated.
And you had one-on-one with the faculty. There was never a problem where
Yeah.
you have to wait for 4 weeks to have a 15-minute
Right.
conversation.
And
They
so
were
I
always
think that's
available.
very unique of UPJ. And I think the students recognize that, and I know the alumni will, and say, yeah, you know what? And actually, that's one of the reasons why I kept my maiden name on my door, because I've had just the other week, I had a student come by and say, that's her. Yeah, she's still here. And but if I wouldn't have had my maiden name on the door,
Right,
they
right,
wouldn't have
right,
known me.
right.
They would have just said, well, okay, I don't
First
know
thing's a
her,
coincidence, but we don't know
And
that.
I can't tell you how many students will say, oh yeah, that's really cool, and you strike up a actually, in the last couple weeks, I've had several students who I had as students, and now their children are my students.
Ah.
That's how long I've been here,
Well,
but that's
good.
exciting
We like
too.
the legacy students, too.
Yeah,
That's wonderful.
exactly. So there is that continuum here at UPJ.
Fantastic. Thank you for taking the time to come and spend 15 minutes with us. On a personal note, thank you for volunteering at our division meeting on Friday because it was
No
looking
problem.
pretty pretty shy
Well,
group.
I'm
all
done with
in
my
all.
classes for the day, so it wasn't a hard problem. So.
Again, thank you. Oh, real quick, the date again for the event for the business forum.
Yeah, that's March 19th at 6 p.m. at the Murtha Center.
Great, and they can probably reach out to Stacy if they have
Yeah,
questions.
Stacy Roberts, yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Matt.